Good morning, class! Alright, today we are going to discuss about an adjective. Okay, so what is an adjective? An adjective is a word that modifies a noun or a pronoun. In general, adjectives usually give us more information about a noun or pronoun by describing it or providing more information about it. In this video, we are going to discuss about comparative adjective and superlative adjective. What is comparative adjectives? When we talk about two things, we can compare them. We can see if they are the same or different. Perhaps they are the same in some ways and different in other ways. We can use comparative adjectives to describe the differences. We use comparative adjectives when talking about two things. Remember, when we are talking about two things, not three things or more things. In the example below, bigger is the comparative form of the adjective big. Example, dragon fruit is bigger than apple. Alright, so we are comparing the dragon fruit and the apple. So we use bigger. Formation of comparative adjectives. There are two ways to make or to form a comparative adjective. Now we have short adjective. Example, fast. It means like there's only one syllable, so it is a short adjectives. With this one, we can just add er. Example, fast. By adding er, it will become faster. Now, let's use it in the sentence. Example, Philip ran faster than Boyet. Now we are comparing who? Philip and Boyet. Alright? That's why we use faster. Okay. Now let's talk about long adjectives. When we say long adjectives, these are the adjectives that have two or more syllables. In here, we can use more and comparing. For example, the adjective expensive. Now, it will be more expensive when we add more. Alright? So, let's use it in the sentence. Her bag is more expensive than mine. So, what are the two things that we compare? Her bag and mine. That's why we use more expensive. Alright, now let's talk about the two-syllable adjectives ending in Y. For example, easy. If the adjective ends in Y, change the Y into I. So it will be easy and then just take out the Y and exchange it with the I. It will become easier. Easy, easier. Alright, let's use it in the sentence. Science is easier than math. What are the two things that we compare? Science and math. That's why we use easier. Alright, the variation. If the adjective ends in E, just add R. For example, the word cute. Alright, the word cute ends with letter E. Okay, so just add R when you are comparing. Alright, the cute will become cuter. Okay, so let's use it in the sentence. The cat is cuter than the dog. And what are the two things that we compare? The two animals rather. The cat and the dog. There's another variation. If the adjective ends in consonant, vowel, consonant, double the last consonant. For example, big. So you just have to double the letter G and it will become bigger. So let's use it in the sentence. Dorian is bigger than apple. There are words that are exception. The following adjectives have irregular forms. So when we say irregular, these are the adjective good and the adjective bad. The adjective good, if you are comparing, it will become better. And then the adjective bad, it will become worse. Always remember that we use comparative adjectives when talking about two things. Remember that we are talking about two things, not 3 or 10 things, only two things. Often, the comparative adjective is followed by the word than. Now, look at these examples. Eiffel Tower is taller than Statue of Liberty. Avatar is more interesting than Transformers. Now that you have learned comparative adjectives, let us discuss superlative adjectives. Superlative adjectives. Now, what is a superlative adjectives? A superlative adjective expresses the extreme or highest degree of a quality. We use a superlative adjective to describe the extreme quality of one thing in a group of things. We can use superlative adjectives when talking about 3 or more things, not 2 things. In the example below, biggest is the superlative form of the adjective big. Now, let's use it in the sentence. Watermelon is the biggest of all the fruits. Here's the formation of superlative adjectives as with comparative adjectives. There are two ways to form a superlative adjective. Now, the short adjectives who have the one syllable, we can only add est. And to the long adjectives, we can only add or use most. We also usually add the at the beginning. Now let's take a look of these short adjectives, the one syllable adjectives. This is the rule. Add est. For example, fast. Now it will become the fastest. Alright, let's use it in the sentence. Santiago is the fastest runner of all my cousins. Now, in this sentence, we are comparing Santiago to all the cousins. So meaning, Santiago is the fastest of all the cousins. So we are comparing Santiago to, yes, right, more than 2. The variation, if the adjective ends in y, change the y to I. Example, easy. It will become the easiest. Now, let's use it in a sentence. Filipino is the easiest of all the subjects. Now, we are comparing the subject Filipino of all the subjects. That's why we use the easiest. Now, for long adjectives with 2 or more syllables, the rule is we can use the word most. For example, the word expensive. Now, we just can add most and now it can be the most expensive. We use a superlative adjective to describe one thing in a group of 3 or more things. Okay, so look at these examples. Burj Khalifa is the tallest of all the skyscrapers. Alright, so we are comparing Burj Khalifa to a lot of skyscrapers. Okay, so we use the tallest. Alright, class, thank you so much for listening and for watching thoroughly. I hope that you learn about adjective and, of course, the two types of adjectives that we discussed today: the comparative adjective and the, yes, superlative adjectives. Happy learning!